stuck here. The cops won't bother me. And Potomac is where the rich people live in this area. Look at that house. Man, this is just mansions everywhere. Look at that one. And this is known for, you know, a lot of senators, I think mostly celebrities and politicians do live out here. There's a lot of Redskins that live here. It's so close to DC, but yet it feels so far. This would be the equivalent of the Hamptons in New York. There is a little downtown area to Potomac. We'll check that out. Tesla Model X. It's a cute little area. I used to come through here after work sometimes just to avoid traffic. It was a long detour. Look at that Jaguar F-Type. The Jaguars look great. Those look great, but I heard they're not very good. But the people that get it don't really care for reliability. I find that the question of durability and reliability is more a poor person struggle. At least it is for me. At the very end of this road, there's going to be like twisties and even some gravel road, because the people that tend to like this area do like to have horses and stuff. So there are areas where it's easy to kind of like do horseback riding. But out here, you can buy a house with a few acres, which is extremely rare around these parts because land is at a premium here. I'm very out of place. Like, I always feel out of place when I'm near an area that's very expensive, because I feel very insecure that people make so much money and I make so little money, have little money. I come from very little money, so I always feel very out of place. And for me, riding a motorcycle feels like it almost makes things a little bit more equal. Like, motorcycling for me is a great equalizer, because there's guys that have a lot of money that have very expensive bikes, very good bikes, and I feel like with the amount of riding that I've done, I've seen so much, ridden so much, and I've gotten much better at riding, that no amount of money a rich guy in this area that has a motorcycle and even a fancy car could probably match, because I have a lot more passion for certain things like riding. And you know, like, even when I'm out of place and I'm riding my motorcycle, I always feel a lot better. Like, I feel like I can definitely control my destiny a little bit, even though it sounds kind of cheesy. Even though, like, I think a lot of rich people with Ducati Panigalis and stuff, they would get on their Ducati's trailer to the track and they would be very fast at riding one particular track. In my experience, those same people, that skill does not translate to the street, and I often find that they get in trouble because they treat the road like a racetrack, and they forget that, you know, even though you can take a very fast line through a road, that doesn't necessarily mean that's a smart thing to do, because there's so many other factors that involve, like cars coming at you, emergency cars like stopped in front of you, gravel, dips in the road. So that's why I think riding on the street and just putting like a lot of miles down is extremely important as a rider, and money just can't buy that. So this is near Rockland's Vineyard, and throughout Potomac there's a lot of these little tiny roads that go through farms. You wouldn't think that this exists in the DC metro area, but a lot of the rich areas in DC look like this. This is of course not DC, this is Maryland, but we're slightly north, so this is commutable to DC. And if you have a lot of money, you can buy a house near here and just have a 20-something minute commute to work. But I've always enjoyed these little roads here. This is a cool little bridge. Rockland's Farm and Winery Market. Look at this. Let's go inside here. We'll just check this area out. So a lot of these wineries in DC look like this. They cater to rich people on the weekends, and women love wineries. That way when they go back to work on Monday, they tell everybody where their boyfriends took them. So if you ever want to impress a woman, because you know it's very easy, you just take them to a winery. But really pretty area. And across the river is Virginia. Virginia is over there, and this is Maryland. You have to be careful crossing over here because cyclists go from left to right, or right to left, whatever they want. And usually on the weekends there's like families and stuff. So here we are. This is our little gravel road here. So this is Edwards Ferry we just came from, and now it's kind of wet. We have a little bit of a wet road here, but this is the only gravel road I know about. And when I found this thing, I was just like so happy. It's like, oh man, I want to try riding this. So I rode this in lots of motorcycles, and it's a cool little thing. You would think that, I think a lot of riders that are into like adventure riding, they come here just so they can experience what it's like riding in the gravel, because in DC you do not get that. You don't get the opportunity to ride in the gravel. And this takes some learning to understand how to ride in gravel, but I just love kicking up like a dust storm, even though it's kind of like a little wet because of the rains that we've had, and it's winter, so it is a little bit colder. I think that guy's on a sport bike. What kind of bike is he in? Hey, there's another bike in front of him. Look at that. That's kind of cool. Sport bike people. That's funny that there's like two bikes on here. I think it's a she in front of me. That would explain why they're going slow. That's kind of cool. Look at that. Yeah, they're not going to go on the gravel. That's funny. Even a 650 feels extremely powerful off-road. That's why I think it's funny that people want these extremely large bikes like GS's and just ride off-road. It's a lot harder to ride off-road in a GS. I don't know, maybe it isn't. I had a GS for a very short time, and I thought it was just ungodly heavy. I also had a BMW RS, and I just thought, ugh, man, it is just so heavy, and it requires so much more maintenance. That's what I don't really like about the BMW fanboys, is that they're completely unwilling to understand that, you know, there's so many other bikes out there, so many other great bikes, better than a BMW. You don't have to put up with those weird maintenance that you have to put up with BMWs. But I found a good community of BMW riders. It just, I'm not into the Kool-Aid, and I'm very critical of what I do. So for me, man, very squirmy. This is very squirmy road. I've always liked this particular section here because there's they put like fresh gravel down, so I like that it's like so open, because in the DC area there's not a lot of things that are open like this. I like the openness. That's why I like the West. It's so open and it makes it look so much more powerful. Like Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, the backdrops that you have are just incredible. But this area, you know, once you get 2 hours west, it starts to all kind of look like this. What is this, a V-Strom? Look at this. That's another V-Strom, a more modern V-Strom. And oh, those were the motorcyclists that I saw on the gravel. They're just doing like a loop. Oh, isn't that fancy? Alright guys, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.